Greetings. My name is Narky Norton, and I'm serving as your outgoing 2022 Town and Gown President. I really thought creating the President's Report to go through the overall highlights would be beneficial for the organization, and I hope a tradition like this will continue. Just so you know, this report will be very efficient, so I will not read through every single thing. The report will be shared through our website in the future as well, so that you could read through that if you did not want a video version. So I hope that you appreciate some of the things we've been able to accomplish. First off, I'd like to talk about some goals that I set as president for myself, and these goals were shared with the Board of Trustees and the Board of Directors. I think to evaluate leadership, you should analyze whether you were able to accomplish the things that you said you would. And according to the bolded bullets, 85% of what I set to do was accomplished. So I hope that metric confirms to you some of the goals that I set for myself in terms of leadership. Here is our outline of what we'll talk about. The first half will be Board of Trustees through Communications and Technology. The second half will be Donations and Care for Community through the Leasing Update, and that will conclude the presidential report. So we have here our Board of Trustees, 80% new members. You see the percentages of our demographics and gender. 100% were retained in 2022. And then you see many photos of our Board of Directors who serve to keep pushing the business of the theater. You see once again our breakdown in terms of demographics, gender, and 81% were retained in 2022. Very grateful for these amazing individuals who contributed everything to make 2022 a success. General information. 46 motions were passed, pushing the business of the theater forward. 197 season passes were issued. At the annual membership meeting, 5 standing rule amendments were passed and 4 bylaw amendments were passed. When we started in 2022, we had 99 members, and the last report for December reported 146. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. As you can see, there's a lot of highlights. There is a full 2022 DEI report that is created and in detail that will be coming later. But some highlights include creating the DEI chair role with Dr. Frida Scott Giles Award, increasing our ethnic racial cast and crew for season 69. You can see that chart, the pink chart above between 69 and 66. You can see the hard work that's been taking place. And beyond the person pushing these values and initiatives, with the help of 2021 Board of Directors and 2022 Board of Directors, we also, have to acknowledge our Vice President, the Play Reading Committee, and the Second Stage co-chairs for using inclusion as a tool in their selection. But then also we must acknowledge our directors, because without directors practicing inclusive casting, we can't see numbers that we see today. A DEI webpage will be built with definitions, reports, presentations, and documentation on the progress that we're committed to in Town and Gown. COVID-19 updates and shifts. As you see, that first bullet says, be kind to your board volunteers. There were times where we faced very unhappy patrons. And those individuals were not afraid to show how they felt and demonstrate behavior that was definitely inappropriate in front of our guests, who were both returners and new. So I just want to say, please remember that whether someone is appointed or elected in a board position, that it's still volunteer. However, the majority of our members and guests were very kind and respectful and gracious. So I want to thank you for doing that. So some of the motions that showed that we were listening, that we were being attentive to the changes, included shifting from half capacity to full, reinstating programs and budgets. And then also we've removed the COVID-19 vaccination requirement for patrons to watch shows. Communications and technology. This was something that was lacking, and I was communicating with several people who said that they did not feel they knew what was taking place in their own theater. The Envoy has been very strong always, thanks to Stacy. Notes from Narky, thanks to Beta, communicating more those 4 or 5 months, especially to be transparent. Our publicity team with Patty, Kat Marie, and Laura the iron triangle of communication experts. They have been a godsend. And we've also communicated in other means. Flagpole, WXAG, thanks to Tracy and Second Stage, WUGA, thanks to some directors, and the new website launch and website lift, thanks to Ski being the angel we don't deserve for taking that on, and also eventually creating some guides to help train people how to operate in the website. So we're halfway through. We're going to go through the next half. So we received several donations consisting of money, food, and resources for those who we lost, members who were part of the Town and Gown history, but then also people who have been connected by being a spouse of our membership. We really appreciate those who poured out their hearts and went above and beyond. I want to take a moment of silence to pause for those who we do not have and we will miss dearly in 2023. Thank you for taking that pause with me. I also wanted to say and give many thank yous to those who donated when there were no shows. We were closed. We could not do anything. We were frozen with fear and lack of knowledge for a long period of time. And yet there were some who still gave to Town and Gown players. So I have to say, for those who did and were able, we really appreciate your kindness. And we thank you for believing in us still. Without even at that levels, without that support, we may not be where we are today, which we're still pushing and striving and growing, but I have to give recognition to those who were still kind to donate to the theater. Internships. I worked with Beth Kaczynski, our vice president with UJ intern, Graf Imhan, who is well known in the theater community at UGA. He produced a great report on incorporating diversity. He also provided us a video for tech training. He attended meetings and events. Graf was phenomenal to work with and to help working with Beth on how we can make sure this internship was successful. And then I worked specifically with Anthony Festa for the ACC community internship that was just newly created. Anthony was a former student of mine. He's an Athenian, a native Athenian, attended Cedar Shoals, and he hopes to go to UGA for a master's degree. He's phenomenal. He worked with me, the membership committee, to collect data on Four Seasons. He also assisted with framing and understanding the purpose of DEI, especially from his Latinx background. And he's also gone to the archives to provide support to publicity with the 70th anniversary. So very grateful for these two and what they have contributed in our theater. Some of the other committees that exist include the Play Reading Committee. Beth Kaczynski has successfully kept this committee out of the political files. So thank you, Beth, for your transparency and your leadership. Nominations Committee, Steve Elliott Gow, thank you so much for you and those who served. The Leasing Committee, Brenda Adamson, still giving her time to keep pushing aggressively with the ACC Gov. The COVID Committee, Jonathan Sparks, Anthony Nadeau, thank you so much for always evaluating and updating some of our policies. And then our 70th Anniversary Committee, led by Beth, as well as our Garden Committee, led by Beth. Beth is doing it. So thank you all for your leadership. Events. Beth has been great with the Play Reading Committee having those reading days when they were considering some content, opening it up, inviting folks to come join and listen and participate. I think this was a great, transparent event. The homecoming event in October, the 69th awards banquet, which was special to bring back after so long. It was amazing to reunite and reconnect. Partnerships and collaborations. So these are several of the partnerships and collaborations that we were able to have, some of which we were giving donations to in terms of tickets or season passes. Others we might have participated in the event. So very glad to keep building this list and be present in our community. This is extremely important. leasing update. The leasing update comes from a December meeting where we had some board of directors attend. We had Brent Adamson, we had our attorney, Matt Rosing attend as well. So here's what we know thus far. The ACC Gov plans to allow applicants to get the community benefits agreement to apply to it. So I'm still no guarantee that you can get the CBA, but they'll allow you to apply. The intent they are claiming is, oh, we were just giving you that $1 to, let you figure some things out. And now we're going back to this cap of, at the worst case scenario, you won't be charged no more than 25% of gross income. But they're saying that that is the max. There's still plenty of space between the floor and the ceiling. They're allowing us, after much argument, we made some strong arguments in that room. They're still basing numbers off of a pre-COVID year. So we made some arguments about how that was ridiculous, and they will allow us to give our most recent IRS returns to change that max number, so that ceiling can at least be lowered in terms of worst case scenario. But of course, Matt Rosing and the ad hoc leasing committee will continue to push for the CBA as well as T&G's interest beyond the CBA. So this is still a work in progress, but this is the most up-to-date information that we want to share with you. In closing, I want to say thank you. As you see the picture on the left, this is how my board started. For those who were there, then the picture on the right, we have some returners, we have some new people coming in. I'm very excited that Chris Schultz will be leading the organization. I want to say thank you, one, to God, because I'm a man of faith. I want to say thanks to Kat Marie and Cameron, because they were the ones who roped me in to do theater, getting me to come in 2017 to start my journey with Assassins, the musical. And thus it was hard for me to get away. I want to say thanks to Katie Chapman for having a Christmas party that caused me to talk about my frustrations, but also my hopes and dreams for the theater. And thanks to Amy, who I said, if I ran for president, you think this is something like, I could do? And she was like, yeah, if you wanted to. So I have to thank these individuals who've been so essential in this left photo. Everyone kindly, Anna texted me, told me to go to sleep. Ski just being, gosh darn, Ski. Beta for her creativity, Jenny for her heart and kindness, Tracy for her ingenuity, Mia for just being a strong steel, just as a human. She's like impenetrable, it almost seems like, and she just keeps things flowing. Eddie for being challenging and pushing what's best, what's healthy. Stacy for making me not have to worry about life. Patty for her amazing leadership and publicity. Travis for helping us really win over some of our most difficult commissioners and starting the foundation of a diversity, equity, inclusion list. Well, Christine for being like the ride or die person who has been supportive of some new initiatives for DEI, and also bringing in diverse people, new people. Jonathan, I can't fix nothing for facilities, so I need somebody who can do that. Last but not least, Beth. I think I talked about Amy. Amy, oh my gosh, yeah. Amy's always been like my mom in theater since I've met her. So she's been really supportive and kind. Beth has been, my other right brain, the person who walks down 2 or 3 different stories from the same building on UGA for us to talk and go through things and hash things out and make solutions. You have been great. And I just want to say to these beautiful people, thank you so much for believing in me. For those who are not in the frame, thank you for having faith, believing that this newer, younger person who may have not had the longest history that you have, but had a vision. And I needed institutional knowledge to do that, and I needed innovation to do that. So thank you for your constant encouragement, being the first, especially being the first Black president in our 70-year history, something I always bring up because it's not easy. to be the first, and I want to do a great job. And sometimes people look at you and they look at your group that looks like you, and they will base their judgments on how well or you succeed and how hard you fall. But I have to say, I'm grateful and gracious, and I hope that the work continues to move forward strongly, passionately, and progressively. And I look forward to staying involved and to staying around to keep seeing the seeds of a new generation and still see how the generations before continue to also allow us to flourish and allow us to keep learning from them as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is your 2022 presidential report, and I hope that you and I will continue to make the magic of theater grow even greater. Thank you.